Edition of Drugs, Crime, and Politics, brought to you by the Drug Policy Forum of Texas. I'm your host, Buford Terrell, and tonight there are just a lot of things that have been happening that we need to talk about and get caught up to date with. And while I can easily let my mouth motor on for an hour without stop, we'll probably all have a better time if you use the telephone and help me out by chipping in with your comments and questions and observations. We'll have the number up on the screen in just a minute. There it is up there now, and if you can't call us live during the broadcast, you can send your comments or questions to the email address, and I'll answer them as promptly as possible, and we might get to them on the next show as well. We do have one announcement of an upcoming event this week. On the 16th, which I believe is Saturday, in Arlington, there will be a candlelight vigil concerning medical marijuana, and in hopes putting a little pressure on the state legislature about it. It will be in Arlington from 6 to 9 p.m. at Meadowbrook Park on East Dugan Street, and it says bring your own candle, admission is free, parking is free, live music, great food, and speakers, including some medical marijuana users. So if you want to support medical marijuana and you're somewhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Arlington might be a good place to go Saturday night. I have kind of joined in the nationwide sport this last week or so of trying to see how Obama's first 100 days have measured up. And when I started making a list, it really turned out to be pretty impressive. I know we're all discouraged that it looks like that's moving forward on the national level. He appointed his attorney general, and they immediately announced that they would no longer interfere with state medical marijuana plans. Now, we're still waiting to see more implementation on that because there haven't been replacements for sitting U.S. attorneys or the DEA. There has been a new drug czar appointed, confirmed by the Senate this week, the former chief of police of Seattle, and one who has managed for many years to have a live and let live orientation with things like Seattle's Hemp Fest, the State of Washington medical marijuana program, city resolutions making marijuana enforcement the lowest drug enforcement, including, it was said, lower than jaywalking. We have the admission by the Secretary of State that our draconian international drug policies through source suppression have been a failure, and that we need to work more on the demand side. We have had some discussions making sure that there would be no troops sent to Mexico. So there's still a lot to be done, but there's a lot that's been happening. We've just recently had the President's administration come out strongly in favor of removing the disparity in sentencing between powder and crack cocaine offenses. So I would have to say that while the dawn hasn't really broken into midday, this is probably more action in the first 100 days than realistically we could have hoped for. Now, the real test is going to be, will it continue? I wish I could be as optimistic about what's going on in Austin this session. It does look like that the needle exchange bill will probably pass. The actions in committees in both houses have been almost unanimous, so there's strong hope of that bill's passing. Now, of course, we always have to keep a rather jaundiced eye out and our fingers crossed, because who knows what Governor 39% and his veto pen will do. But that bill looks pretty hopeful. The medical marijuana affirmative defense bill is still alive and hanging on by its fingernails. If someone out there has anything current or up to date about its status in front of the House and whether it will survive the calendar deadlines this weekend, you might call in and let us know about that. I was pleased to hear last night Pat Lycos, the Harris County District Attorney, speaking favorably about the move to remove the disparity in cocaine sentencing. So, all in all, I think that it's a time when we can be at least cautiously optimistic about what's going on. But at the same time, that also means that it's the time to step up the pressure. Now's the time when there's a chance to get things done. The other thing that's happening that looks rather favorable is that now, in addition to Senator Webb's bill in the Senate calling for a national commission on crimes and criminal law, including drug laws, there is a strong bill in the House of Representatives with several co-sponsors and some bipartisan support for a national commission on drugs. And we do have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yes.
Could you turn your television down, please?
They say that weed is drugs. Is that true?
That what is?
That weed is drugs. Is that true?
Okay. Yeah, let me answer that. The question is weed drugs. And the answer is yes, that it's a substance taken into the body to change the way the body or mind functions. So it is a drug. And when we talk about medical marijuana, we're certainly using it as a drug, as either a palliative or a cure for some illnesses. But on the other hand, remember the most commonly used recreational drug in this country is caffeine. And everyone that drinks a cup of coffee, drinks a glass of iced tea, has a Coke or a Mountain Dew, is using a recreational drug, just like people do with marijuana or alcohol or heroin. The word drug itself is not a bad word. It includes all of those things practically your doctors give you. It includes antibiotics when you have an infection. It includes ibuprofen that you take if you've got a fever or some sore aches and pains. It includes the pills I take for high blood pressure and cholesterol. Drug just simply means a substance that affects the body. Now, if we look at drugs that are harmful or not harmful, there we have to ask the question of, what do you mean by harmful? Because after all, if you take caffeine, which most